Yeah. Come up now. Can't stop me. You coming up.
Hello, 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 everybody. Y'all come in here. It's time. I put something on my page on Instagram and Facebook earlier to let you know that we were coming on live. As if you didn't already know. You should have already known. It's Tuesday. If it's Tuesday, it's Hop Series time and we are live. I want you to come in and not only come in and be selfish, I want you to share this broadcast out. We're live on YouTube, on the House of Peach page. We're live here on Facebook on the House of Peach page, my page, Morgan's page. There is no excuse for you not to be able to watch what's going on. Y'all know who I am. I'm April, and my name is right there on the screen. That should let you know. You've been watching me for over a year now. We're waiting for Morgan to come in. I'm excited about having her with me today and excited about our guest. So let's do some housekeeping. I'm waiting for you to come in so you can let me know who's here. So you can also share this out. Tell everybody, look, those girls are on. They're on. They're getting ready to get started. You know the show is going to be fire. In the corner of your screen, there is a QR code. If you have not, to this day, subscribed to House of Peach, I'm going to need you to be obedient and get your phone and hit that QR code, scan it, and subscribe to House of Peach because you want to stay abreast of everything that's going on with us, what we're doing, where we're going, because some great things, greater things are coming. This past year has been amazing. We celebrated 1 year back in January, and we're still going strong. And we've had so far this year, we've had some amazing women, and there have been some men that have come on here. So every single Tuesday at 7:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we are on here live. We are on here for our show. And then to top it all off, y'all, the last Tuesday in every month is usually dedicated to he said, she said. But today we want to do things a little differently. We're doing things a little differently today. However, if you are interested in being on during our he said, she said, that's for everybody. We have a topic that we want men and women to join us. You're welcome to come on the show with us. I think people may feel like, oh, it's just Morgan and April. No, it's not. Oh, anyone. We want you to come on because we want to hear it from everyone's perspective. This is a safe place. It's no judgment zone. What is that Morgan said? Don't yuck my yum. Yeah, so we're not coming in doing that. We're having a good time and we are bringing things from different perspectives. So what we do here at the Hop Series, what do? We inspire you, we motivate you, we push you to be your best self and to get to the next level in your life. Like, we don't want you to stay where you are and 6 months later you're still there. No, we're bringing the guests on that can help you get to where you need to be, whether it's therapists, whether it's marketing consultants, whether it's whomever it is, business entrepreneurs, everybody comes on here and you're able to connect with them and then so take your life to the next level, to the next dimension. I heard a saying that says, when the student is ready, the teacher will appear. Well, you never know. Your teachers may come on here. I don't know. You won't know that unless you join us every Tuesday. So we're happy that you are here. We need you to share this out. Put something in the chat. Let us know that you're here. I have my page up here I'm looking at. Then we have it here on Restream, everywhere. So wherever you put it, just put it and we'll see it so you can say hello. I'm going to tell y'all what I did. This is what I did. So a couple of days ago, I went on live on my Facebook page and I talked about accountability. And I'm excited because, number one, I didn't want to do it, but I did it, talking about being accountable for our actions. So guess what I did? So one of my siblings I haven't talked to in over a year. Well, no, right at a year. So what did I do? I called this sibling last night, haven't talked to him in a year. And you know what? I listened to them. I listened to them tell me how they felt and what was going on. And you know what I did? I didn't judge. I didn't say anything. I let them talk. And afterwards, you know what I did? From my heart, from the core, I apologized to that sibling. I took accountability for my actions because I didn't do things exactly the way that I should have. I didn't handle things exactly the way that I should have. And guess what? I was able to apologize. They accepted my apology, and the conversation shifted like we never missed a beat. I'm excited about that because I'm about repairing what was broken and whatever I have to do with that. And I'm not above saying I made a mistake. I messed up. I didn't handle things properly. I didn't do things the right way. I didn't think before I acted. I just reacted. I didn't respond. So I'm excited that I was able to talk to this sibling after a year. Y'all. So the whole point of me sharing this, number one, was my excitement. And number two was about being accountable for our actions. And we may always say, well, they did it, they did it. But yeah, why did they? Was it something that we said or something that we did that got them to that point, or was it strictly all them? So I took accountability for April, and I feel so much better. And I'm looking forward to rebuilding this relationship and moving forward in our lives because this family member, this sibling, has a new baby, had a baby in December. And guess what? I've not seen this baby at all. I know that there's a baby. I know the gender of the baby. I know the name of the baby, but never seen the baby. So I'm missing out on golden opportunity because of something that could be handled with a simple conversation. What is it in your life right now that you can handle with a simple conversation and get things straightened? So simple, right? It's so easy to have a conversation, an adult conversation where you listen to them, they listen to you, and you come to an agreement. Maybe it's just to agree to disagree. I don't see it that way, but here I'm going to apologize anyway. So, anyway, enough about that. So I don't know, Morgan. Morgan, where are you? I miss you. So we're going to wait for Morgan to come on. We have a great guest coming on talking about raising your children and doing things of that nature. I always need help, even though my children, I have four. I know I don't look like I have four kids, but I do. I have four children, and three of them are adults, and then I have a 9-year-old. So there isn't a blueprint. There aren't, they write books all the time, but these books are just general books, in my opinion. It's not until you actually bring that little person home and you begin to see their personality. Like all of my kids are completely different, like night and day. But we need to be bold enough to prepare them for the next level. We need to prepare them for life. We need to prepare them for the different obstacles that's coming because they will come. They're going to have obstacles. And things in this world are way harder than they were when I was coming up. I would not have wanted to grow up in this season because in this time period because it's hard. So Janet is here and she's going to come on and she's going to help us in that area because even though Ariel is 9, I still need some help because I sometimes want to sit her outside on the corner with a sign that says child for sale. And I mean that jokingly, I would dare do that. But just some of the things that she says and does, it's like, where did that come from? My other kids were not like that. Everybody has their own personality, their own ways, and you have to handle them differently. But what I am doing with her is trying my best to prepare her for life, prepare her for the future, and be bold about it. I am learning to not suppress how she is because she's her own unique person. And I'm letting her express that in a safe way, in a way that's not going to be like, oh my God, what are you doing? So I'm excited about that. So without further ado, we're going to bring on our guest, Janet Krebs, and she's going to come in and we're just going to have a girlfriend's conversation and she's going to help a sister out. Hey, Janet.
Hello. I don't know that why I'm here. Like, I'm just listening to you. First of all, I'm so glad the green room were muted because I am like literally laughing my duff off back there, listening to you. Oh my God. Like, what a perfect segue.
Oh, thank you. Hey,
You exemplify where and why we're going to have the conversation that we're having. But
well, thank you.
what a beautiful testimony to your, I'm going to say brother, because you did say him. Like, what a beautiful testimony.
Yeah,
You know
it
what I
was.
call, you know what I call that?
What's that?
Like, that right there is leadership. That's my whole
Mm.
platform, April. You just made the point. And it doesn't have, and look, like, and you've got some flown and groans. You've
Mm-hmm.
got a daughter still home, but you were able to use that leadership skill set with repairing a relationship with your brother. Never
Yeah.
gets old. Never gets old.
Yeah, yeah. And I honestly, after the conversation, because it was so late here, because he's in Arizona. So it was so late here when I got off the phone, but I couldn't go to sleep because I was just so overwhelmed with the emotion of excitement. Like, I can't believe I've had this conversation, but I'm just looking forward to moving on with that. But so you're going to come in and you're going to just take it on. But first, just give us a little background as to who Janet is and how you got to where you are.
Well, Janet is a really old woman.
Stop it.
Although you can't tell how old I really am now. And you don't look like, well, what does having 4 kids look like anyway, April?
It looks totally different nowadays. Because I have 2 grandkids and one that's due next month, and people are like, "Wait a minute." So I just casually say it in conversation, and they're like, "Wait a minute, let's back up to what you just said. Great grandchildren? Oh yeah, really? Yeah, that's why my grandkids call me Mimi and not Grandma, because I'm not there yet."
Yes, I've actually, being raised in a Jewish household, Bubby is Yiddish for grandmother. And so
Mm,
I'm not a grandmother. I could be, but I'm not yet. And so I'm going to be Bubby J.
okay.
No, is that like, there's no grandma thing for me either, but
Oh
Bubby J, I think I could live with.
yeah, I like that. I like that.
Anyway, who's Janet? That was a very bad time to put ice in my mouth. It just slipped in. You know, I always say, I mean, I've done some really cool things, April. I
Mhm.
worked in a space flight simulator for 14 years where I got a chance to touch over 65,000 kids. I've been a facilitator, I've been a consultant. I was a traditional teacher. I've been a mom, I'm a personal trainer. Like, I've done some really cool things, but it has all led to this.
Mm,
Because in my leadership roles, like for me, brave parenting is leadership.
mhm.
And I'm here today to inspire all of your guests, your followers, to give. Let's give everybody a promotion. When was the last time you had a promotion?
I know it's been a minute.
Right? Except so, like here, like I was just thinking the other day, even like single moms, right?
Mhm.
What this whole executive, like the C-suite, like this is like
Mm,
new, this is new terminology, right? I didn't like what everyone was talking about. It's like, what the hell's the C-suite, right?
right.
We are the C-suite.
Mm,
We are the chiefs in our families. If you're a parent, you're a chief. You're a chief financial officer. You're the chief logistics officer. You are the chief
right.
nutrition officer, medical officer, operations. You are the chief everything.
Right.
And parents get absolutely, I'm not going to say no credit, but it has become an aside.
Mhm.
Right? Like, when was the last time somebody asked you, what is it that you do? which is a very common question. Hi,
Right.
it's really nice to meet you. What do you do? Typically, people don't lead with, I'm a kick-ass mom or I'm a kick-ass dad, right? They just don't.
Right, right.
And I would love to see us change that conversation where
Mm,
we unapologetically don't leave that out of the conversation. Like every time I submit a bio, yeah, like I said, I've done some really cool things. But you know what I really am the most proud of are my two kids. You know how I want to be. You know how I want to be remembered as a mom, a
mm-hmm.
wife, as a daughter,
Yeah.
as a sister. These are the things that I want to be remembered. Nobody's going to care that I was, Commander Krebs or a teacher or like nobody cares that I'm a person.
Mhm.
Nobody cares.
Yeah.
It's the connections and you telling your story, April, like gave us all permission to think it's never too late.
Yeah, absolutely. And
So
I like what you said that nobody's going to care about all the other things you've done because how you are with your family, that carries, and what you build, that carries for generations to come. So, how I raised my kids, I raised them to be close. And I told them when the chips are down, you have each other. And so I mirrored that and I tried to mirror that for them and keep them together and teach them and train them. But you're right. I need to start saying I'm a bomb.com mom. What are you talking about? Because my kids tell me that all the time. And because I didn't see that, I didn't see it for myself. I always saw the mistakes that I made. I never saw the wins and the things that went well. I always paid attention to the things that I felt were bad when it really wasn't. It wasn't at all because my kids had to tell me, no, we learned. It was a learning experience. It wasn't bad. We're good. Like, oh, okay. So, yes. Come on, parents. We need to give ourselves, recognize that in us.
I'm going to get, we could have an Oprah-tastic moment here. You ready? You get a raise and you get a raise and you get a raise.
Everybody get a raise.
Like welcome to leadership. Like that's my entire platform.
Mm-hmm.
Brave parenting is leadership and it starts at home.
Yeah.
And it takes, like you so beautifully illustrated, the bravery of making that phone call.
Mm-hmm.
Leadership is a lot about accountability and having the hard conversations that nobody else wants to have. That's like those are two of the most of the top qualifications and characteristics of a great leader, being accountable and being willing to have tough conversations. So you already made my point by doing that last night. We just don't even think about it in those terms. We have siloed leadership into the executive suites or in businesses, but it's at home.
Right. That's right. We're the ones that set the tone. We're the ones that something as simple as making the schedule for dinner here, because I used to do that with my kids. We get a calendar, I print one out, and we'd all sit together and say, okay, what do we want to have this day? We always knew the weekends were just a free for all, but during the week it was regimen, and we went to the grocery store by that, and we, stayed within the budget. So they know all about that. And I, just not even really realizing what I was instilling. See, parents, we do things that we don't realize what we are instilling in our children, just doing it, but we ran that. We did it well. We set the tone, we put those skills in them, and now my kids, they are really, they watching it. They're just not spending money. They are paying attention to it because it started at home.
So you just gave me a great example of chief logistics officer and the chief financial officer. And can I make one more observation?
What's that?
I'm going to go out on a limb here. Can you see yourself in the camera?
Yeah, absolutely.
You, after I kind of gave my little spiel, your entire body, you were just like, yes. and your whole posture just kind of brightened up a little bit. You're like, well, yeah, I'm in that. Yes, I'm all in.
Right, right. So because we don't see that, so we just keep going about our day, and it takes someone to bring it to your attention, like, yeah, you're right. So then it gives you a sense of pride. So now I really am sitting here like, wow, I did that. Yeah, right. I'm doing this. Who else do I need to call?
Yeah, it's like, and it's very empowering. It's
Yeah.
very empowering. Well, actually, I should back up. I should reframe that. What is empowering is realizing that you can join the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not us versus them.
Mm-hmm.
You're, if you're a parent, you are a leader.
Mm-hmm.
You are welcome to the table.
Yeah.
Join the conversation
Right.
without apology.
Right.
Nobody has ever really pointed out all of the magical things that you do. And
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, I'm on a mission to make sure that people feel empowered and give
Mm-hmm.
themselves credit when credit is due. Did you know that women, especially moms, make the best bosses?
Oh, I'm sure. It makes perfect sense
Right?
when you explained it just like you have, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to change just little old Janet in Indianapolis, Indiana, as she's on a mission to change the conversation that we're having about brave parenting being leadership.
Yeah. So what was it that steered you in that direction? So you've done so many things and been involved in so much. What steered you to this specifically? Was there an event that took place in your life or a trend that you were seeing? What was it that got you to this point?
Probably a couple of things. That's a really good question. I really should work on an answer to that because people ask me that all the time. It wasn't really just one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, mine are 27 and 31. So we call those flown and growns. You've got
Mm-hmm.
a couple yourself, and and they've been gone for years, obviously. And there is that moment. So now we are the empty nesters, and so we sit and we have some time to reflect a little bit, and it's kind of like, what's my purpose now and what I'm going to do now professionally, blah blah blah. And I had retired myself from teaching, and I'm a journaler. I have been since I could write. And I was just really reflecting on many of the things that I've done well,
Mm-hmm.
and how, like, I was a career counselor 100 years ago. I was like, so like repackaging that. It's like, okay, I'm not ready to retire. So what have I done really well? And
Mm-hmm.
how could I package that and make a difference in the world? And I didn't even know that, quote unquote, like parenting coaching was a thing. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and all you have to do is spend literally 10 minutes on social media in any of the parenting groups to realize that there is a huge need for
Mm-hmm.
support out there. Like you said, there's no book.
Mm-hmm.
Well, mine's it's almost ready for publication.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm really excited. Uh, and it's all about the shifts, like this
Mm-hmm.
whole mindset shift and how we have to think about this. And I just really thought I can really make a positive impact with empowering parents to do the right thing
Mm-hmm.
within the home without feeling the frustration and the tear my hair out and like all, like there's so much of that. It's like, where's the joy? This is supposed to
Mm-hmm.
be a really joyful time. Yes, it's busy. We understand the hamster wheel. This is just a very busy time in your life. But man, if you don't stop and enjoy and
Yeah.
laugh and laugh with the kids, like then they're going to be gone. What's the legacy?
Yeah.
So I just really made a commitment to changing the conversation that we're
Mm-hmm.
having about parenting. And here I am, 3. Oh, I guess I started during the pandemic. Uh,
Okay.
that was a bright idea, wasn't it? But it was a great time to learn because we were home, and
Right.
and so I didn't know how to be a speaker. I didn't know how to be a coach. I didn't know how to do a lot of things. So I learned. I
Yeah.
studied, I hired coaches myself, and I learned, and here I am.
Yeah. You said something very key about paying, just living in the moment and paying attention to what's going on. Because I know being a single parent for most of my children's lives, my focus was I need to work, I need to provide. But I do remember times where, like on the weekends, I would just say, you know what, let's just go to the park, or let's just take a road trip and go somewhere. The excitement on their faces and the joy and the time that we have, like I would not get, you just can't substitute for that. And I feel is missing in the homes, in parenting, because our focus is on one thing. Whereas if we would just take the time, sometimes Ariel, like she's always doing something, like, oh my God, always doing something. But sometimes she's like, Mommy, can we just look at something, a movie together? And then I said, okay, fine, let's do that. And we just lay in the bed and we just look at movies. And just that time, she's like snuggled up against me, and we talk and laugh and we do things. That's the stuff that's going to last. Yeah, she's going to remember that I provided, I made sure she had somewhere to stay, she ate, she had clothes, all of that stuff. But what's going to really matter to her and develop her in her life as she becomes an adult and starts her own family is that. Otherwise, it's a continual cycle of we just need to work, we just need to work, we just need to work. But what about living? What about enjoying? And I know a lot of some situations you do what you can, but I know with your skills and your coaching that you can help even the most difficult situations. The most difficult where parents say, I just don't have the time to stop and smell the roses. So how would you tell them, what would you give them to help them to see where they could rework their schedules or rearrange some things so they do have time to smell those roses and spend time with their kids to show them something new?
That's a great question. And I just love listening to you. Like I'm going to bring you on my podcast because it's like, preach it, girl. Like you've got it nailed. So what you were describing, I have 3 primary C's in one of the areas that I like to talk about. And one of them, my favorite one to talk about, is connection, which is really what I think you are asking me about. How can we connect with kids when time is limited, and I'm going to throw in there money? Because everyone, it's a struggle right now.
Right.
But here's the thing. Connection does not require a PhD, nor does it require a fat wallet.
Right.
It's free.
Yeah.
It's free. It's literally free. It can be free. I was a huge fan. I made my kids do a lot of things just because I wanted them to learn life skills. And so when I was cleaning up the kitchen, here's just a fun example. Anybody can do this. I don't know. Do kids even bring lunches today, or does everybody buy lunch at school?
If I could get Ariel to take lunch from home, I would be happy, because that garbage that they're feeding them in school is not good. Everywhere we've been, it's like, can you just take your lunch?
That's so funny, because when my kids were coming up, it took so long to get through the line. They wanted to take their lunch so they had more time to eat. But I'll come up with an anecdote to that. Anyway, the whole moral of the story is they would pack their lunches, and then and we put them in the refrigerator, and they would go up and do their homework. And I would kiss a napkin with some fresh lipstick and like put a smile face on the napkin or something, and then sneak it in their lunches, just because I knew that the next day, I don't care if it was an eye roll or a smile, or if they had to hide it, they knew I was thinking about them that during the day. Or sometimes I was known to bite their sandwich.
So when they took it out of their bag, that's classic. I love it. And I know they laugh at that now, but they probably were like, "Mom," but they
And
remember
how
that.
and so how much did that cost me, right?
You're right, right.
So let's turn that today, because now you're saying that kids don't take a lunch. Okay, that's cool, but everyone carries a backpack, right?
Hmm.
And they've got a planner and they've got all sorts of things in their backpacks. So I would say go to the dollar store and get a pack of Post-it notes and
Hmm.
hide a Post-it note in the backpack. So when they pull out their binder, first period or third period, whatever it is, they pull out a Post-it note that says, "Hope you're having a great day."
Hmm.
Boy, that really, like, wow. Does that
Yeah,
cost no money? But you
right.
know what it does require? Some intention. One of my favorite words, intention.
Yeah, yeah,
How can I connect with this kid today while he or she is at school?
right.
And I don't want to, well, see, I loved embarrassing my kids, thus the kissing and the sandwiches. However, I understand that would probably not, that wouldn't fly today.
Oh no, no.
Come on, April. We have them so we can embarrass them.
Absolutely. And my kids know I don't care. My oldest daughter is 24. My next daughter is 22. My son's 18. And they know I will hug and kiss on them anywhere. And they're like, wow. But my son, who I would think would be, I'm cool. I don't want that. He's very affectionate. So he will come and hug me all out in front of. I'm like, oh, you're in college. You're on the campus. You're gonna hug. He's like, you my mom. Oh, okay, good. All right.
Yeah.
So
Some boys are like that. My
yeah,
Ben's like that too. Very
yeah.
demonstrative with affection. So here's another one. And this doesn't cost anything either. One of my favorite things when the kids were coming up was I called it a cup of conversation.
Mm.
And what that translated into, if you've heard me before, you've heard me tell this story, but back in the day, I don't even know if they still do, tea kettles used to whistle,
Mm.
right? So I would put on a kettle, a hot water kettle, and then it would, blow its steam and it would whistle. And I would yell upstairs during homework and be like, "Hey, anybody that needs a cup of conversation, come on down."
Mhm.
That meant tea, obviously decaf, hot water, whatever it was, maybe a cookie, whatever, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Just come down, take a brain break. What are you working on? Are you enjoying it? How was your day? Like, just, I didn't lead the conversation, whatever.
Mhm.
15, 20 minutes. Not enough to derail the whole evening, just
Mhm.
enough to get away from what they were doing and reconnect with the family. And you know what that actually entitled them to do is to go up and be super refreshed
Mhm.
after just a quick connection.
Yeah. And you've conquered so many things all in that one 15 to 20-minute time. That is so amazing that we take for granted the little simple things. It doesn't require money to do, just spend some time. Like I wouldn't that right there would have just worked. But we did what I did with my kids is on the weekends, it would Friday nights were it. We would all it's family night. We're all coming in the living room. We're either playing games, we're looking at movies, or we're listening to music, or we're just being silly. And now that I talk to her, I just remember all the stuff that I did. And my mom is watching on my Facebook page and she says, I applaud you because as a single parent, you did a lot with your children. And I just did it. I didn't really think about all of that. But parents that are watching, Jana is giving us some little simple things that are free. And we like free things that we can do with our kids. It doesn't take a lot. Just that 15-minute time can mean so much in a child's life to shape them and start something. Like I think long term. I don't want to just think in the moment. Yes, I'm building this relationship with my children and I'm setting a standard, but I want to set this standard for them to carry on even after I'm no longer here. This is something that my great great Mimi started, and we do this, and we had a great time, and then the family just expand. How many children? And I think I'm one of those really big thinkers with things.
Me
How
too.
many children would have their behaviors diverted or well, I won't say diverted, but changed just from parents taking the leadership role and now spending that time?
Well,
Just
and in all fairness, we're conditioned, like it's counterintuitive.
mm-hmm.
You don't disturb homework time.
Yes.
You know what? I was a teacher for 20 years. It's
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like they're gonna come back to it. And but if they've been sitting, sometimes that change channel is exactly what they need.
Yeah.
Kind of just change the energy and re-spark where what they were doing. So, but it is
Mm-hmm.
a little counterintuitive. Like I,
Yeah.
people would be like, "Oh my God, you interrupted the kids during homework time. I could never do that." Well, and again, it worked for me,
Yeah.
all of us. And might I say to you, you just gave me another example, April. You are a leader. Mom, I know you're watching, Mom. You done good. You just said you're looking down the road,
Yeah.
not just today. And
Mm-hmm.
that's the posture we have to have.
Yeah.
And that's a leadership quality. Create the
Mm-hmm.
vision for the future. That's what
Yes.
leaders do, April.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh my goodness. I'm so happy you're on here. Like this is this is great. This is exciting. So now for me personally, I feel so much better about me as a mom and the things that I've done because there was a time, I'm gonna try not to get emotional, where I didn't think that I measured up as a mom, that I messed up because, whatever reason. But to hear this and the different things that I did, yeah, I am a leader. I did that. So
You killed it. You
yeah,
absolutely killed it.
so get yourself up, girl. So you parents that are watching, listen. It's never too late to make some changes. It doesn't have to be something drastic at one time, just little things here or there. And you were talking about the homework and oh my God, you don't interrupt your kids, but we never know that while they're upstairs or in the other room doing their homework, they may be stumped on a question or something that has them frustrated and they need that 15 and 20-minute time just to get away from it, just to relax and not think about it. And then when they go back with fresh eyes, boom, there's the answer. They figure it out. So there's no reason to think, oh, you don't need to interrupt them. Well, maybe they need, like you said, they need that break. They
Yeah.
need that time.
Yeah. Yeah. That was my philosophy. And I know it's
Mm-hmm.
unpopular. And let's also at least acknowledge that, they were, they're not neurodivergently challenged, they're
Mm-hmm.
like, they were just gen ed kids who, would go up into their rooms and do their stuff. So,
Right.
I wasn't dealing with anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I also was not like a homework helper. I was like,
Mm.
guys, if you don't know something, that means you need to ask a better question tomorrow. I'm not going to just I've already passed fourth grade or
Yeah.
sixth grade or whatever. Then this is like, you need to
Yeah.
ask that question tomorrow. If I tell you, I'm not helping
Right.
you. So,
Yep.
and that's
Absolutely.
because I was a teacher. So I was a real
Well,
brat.
you're the expert. And if
I was
you
a
said
brat.
it's okay to interrupt homework, then doggone it, you need a break. You've been working for like 30 minutes. Come on, let's take a little 10-minute break here. Oh, she'd be all over that. She'd love that. But like you said about the homework, like I had a parent teacher conference a few weeks ago, and the math teacher, she said, we don't want the parents helping with the homework. Oh, she said, because we want them to, like you said, ask the questions. so you can get the understanding. And that too, oh my God, this takes me back to the time of just sitting and talking with your kids. You never know what questions they may have. Things that every day I ask Ariel, how was your day? What happened? And she goes into this spill about how kids were doing. So here's my moment to lead her, to let her know, okay, this was probably not the best way to handle it, or this is how you need to do this the next time, or did you talk with someone about that? So those leadership, that is all the time, all the time. Oh
All
my
the
goodness.
time, all the time. It
Now
never
I'm not
turns,
saying
it never
opposite
turns off. It
right.
never turns off, which is why, and all leaders will tell you it's a thankless, tireless job. But guess what?
Yeah.
So is parenting.
Yes, it
And
is.
guess what? There is, when the deposits that we make when they are under our roof
Hmm.
pays off after they leave. So
Yeah.
your point when you said, I'm thinking down the road. Yeah,
Hmm.
the most brilliant story, like one of the most brilliant phone calls. My daughter, like, I love this story. She called me one day. I was out walking. I don't know why it was. And she was in a completely different time zone. And she said, "Hey, I can't talk now. I just stepped out of a meeting. I'll call you later, but I had to tell you, I am so glad you were never my friend when I was home,
Mm.
because I need you to be a friend now. I'll call you later. Bye."
Mm. Wow.
She, like, that was her articulation.
Wow.
And they will always say, "Mom, you were the meanest mom ever." But now, but even today, but we were always close, but I was very
Mhm.
strict. Um,
Yeah.
but to your, like, accountability and boundaries, they're best friends.
Yes.
So I had very strict boundaries in the house,
Hmm.
and that's why they thought I was a mean mom, because
Hmm.
I had very strict boundaries, and I made them accountable for it. So
Oh yeah.
I'll add that to you had,
Absolutely.
yeah, the
Yeah, I
conversation.
did that. Yeah, I did that with my three oldest because when they got to a certain age, I taught them how to clean up the kid, wash the dishes, and clean the kitchen. And on the weekends, on Saturday mornings was our cleanup day. I would give each one of them a list of things I wanted them to do. When they got done, they came to me and said they were done. I went to check it to make sure it was to the standard I wanted it. And then if it wasn't, I said, okay, you need to come back and do this. And then my son got to the place where every weekend he's like, Mom, where's my list? Mom, where's my list? So Ariel, being the youngest, thinks that she's going to skate by that. And it's like, no, ma'am, you're going to have the same treatment. So I've had her loading and unloading the dishwasher and washing dishes. She's like, but I did it yesterday. Well, do it again today because you're not going to sit around and I do the work. No, ma'am, we are working together. I'm teaching you the work ethic here. So my kids
And
were the same way. They thought I was mean. Like, why am I so mean? And we got in trouble. But now they understand. They appreciate it.
but you, I not but and you were teaching, and still are, even with Ariel, community.
Mm.
Family is a snapshot community,
Mm-hmm.
and it doesn't work unless everybody works together.
Yes,
So
absolutely.
you're building the concept of community.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're all in
Yes.
this together. Like, I'm sorry, yeah, I cooked yesterday, and you have the audacity to want to eat again today. So I'm going to have to cook again. I'm not standing here going, but I cooked yesterday. I don't feel like
Right.
cooking today, right?
Right. That part.
So guess what, darling? Like, sometimes we just have to do these things. Uh,
Absolutely.
that reminds me, you said your kids did it to your standards. You were tougher than me, but yeah. Well, because at some point, depending upon their age, obviously, because there are probably
Mm-hmm.
parents out there listening to this, like, well, my child's only 5, so how do I expect? And no, they're not going to do it the same. Uh,
Right.
and you do have to be willing to just let go of some things.
Mm-hmm.
My kids did laundry very early in their lives. I think it was like
Mm-hmm.
first and fourth grade.
Mm-hmm.
And I had to get used to the idea that they used the dryer as the dresser.
Mm-hmm.
And that meant that they went to school often in clothes that were way too wrinkled. And they were clean, but they were wrinkled.
Uh-huh.
They didn't care.
Yeah.
So I couldn't care.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't my ideal,
Mm-hmm.
but I had to give that up because they
Okay.
were at least doing the laundry
Yeah.
on
Yeah.
their own, right?
I
So
understand that.
sometimes we do have to make some compromises just with what
Yeah.
we allow.
I agree. My mom says that your book is going to be a bestseller. And she says something that
Ah,
children don't have today is accountability and boundaries. Yeah. So, unless the parents set those boundaries, they just run amok. So my
thanks,
kids know that's
Mom.
not happening with me. We're not running amok. I'm gonna let you live and enjoy life and just living who you are and your personality, but we're gonna have
Well,
we're gonna reel it in.
here's and you alluded to this, and I think we've been talking about
Oh,
this, and I don't know how long we have, but if we're getting close, here we've
yeah,
been
we
talking
are getting close.
we're around this subject, so let's just nail it.
Okay.
We don't raise children. We
Mm.
are raising the adults of tomorrow.
Wow. Yes.
To your point, what's the end game?
Mm-hmm.
Right? So if you envision your kids to eventually leave and be contributing, members of society in whatever they
Mm-hmm.
want to do, then you're not doing their laundry for them when they're 16,
Yes.
right? Like stop.
Right.
Because
Mm-hmm.
then they leave and they're not capable and they're afraid and
Yes.
they're not confident and they don't
Mm-hmm.
have courage and they're not resourceful. So
Yeah.
let's just change the conversation to we don't raise kids. We're
Mm-hmm.
raising the adults of tomorrow.
I
And
like
when we
that.
right? And when we keep that indelibly imprinted on the insides of our eyelids, it really
Mm-hmm.
does change the decisions that we make in our
Yeah.
families.
Yeah, absolutely. I to give an example of that, when I moved from New Jersey to Texas, my son was getting ready to turn 18. He was a senior in high school. And I left with just Ariel and myself to go to Texas. And I had to leave my son with his sister, my oldest daughter. And I was just having a meltdown because number one, I didn't want to leave my kids at all. They were all grown. Like I didn't want to leave them, and so I cried and cried. But he showed me that very next day that I had taught him how to survive and live and he was figuring out how to get the bus to work and getting himself transferred into a new school and the paperwork he needed and just handling things. And I was like, oh my God, I didn't even know. And he would say, Mom, I looked up the bus schedule to see what buses I needed to take to get to work and how to get home. And I did this and that. And I was like, oh my God. So then I began to calm down because I was preparing him for the adult
Yes,
years, and he's still
yes.
growing and evolving. He still has some edges he needs to get fine-tuned, but oh my goodness. So please, before we leave here, tell people how they can get in contact with you, your website, all your social media handles, when you have your podcast, everything, because I know somebody needs your information. It's probably going to be me.
No, darling, you are the expert. You just didn't know you were an expert. And that's part of my platform. That's
Mhm,
part of the whole platform. We teach, but we also want to validate what women and men have already
mhm.
been doing, and they just
Yeah,
haven't really thought about. It's kind of just like a mind shift. Uh,
yeah.
I'm really easy to find. I just use my name because if you remember my name, then you remember. So just look up janetkrebs.com or on Facebook or on LinkedIn. I think I'm on Instagram, but I don't post there. And
Mhm.
I'm trying to get better about all of my videos. I actually on Facebook, I do release a video every Mondays and Thursdays, and they're only
Okay,
five minutes or less. And they're
okay.
just, yeah, just so I would just love uh, I just want people to feel good about what they're doing, honestly.
Mhm.
Yes, and if you have questions, I answer all my own stuff. So if you ever have a question, it's my privilege to just answer and serve. So
Oh, it has been an extreme pleasure having you on tonight. I feel like I've known you forever. Like we could just sit and talk all night and just have fun and enjoy it. So, for those of you that have been on and you want to ask Janet some questions, she's really easy to find. Just look her name up. You'll
very easy
find
to
her
find.
everywhere. And she says she's more than willing to answer your questions. So it's been a pleasure. Remember, parents, we are leaders. We are the CEOs of our home, and we are not raising children. We are raising the adults of tomorrow. I'm going to remember that forever. And I'm going to look at Ariel a little differently. You're not a kid. I'm raising an adult of the future, of tomorrow. All right. Listen.
And we are all raising tomorrow together.
Yes.
You're not doing it alone. What
Yes.
you do affects the community at large. So
Absolutely. Absolutely. We have a lot of responsibility. So thank you so much for joining us this evening. We have
yay.
to have you back on for one of our He Said, She Said when we do something big about parenting. I think I know for a fact we need to have you back on for that.
I
So
would
we
be
can so some parents can come on and ask some questions. It's probably going to be therapy time during that show. We're going to have you back on. So y'all, thank you so much for joining us. If you did not share this broadcast out, I'm going to need you to do that. Can you just share it out? If you have not subscribed to the House of Peach, please, ma'am, and please, sir, scan the QR code so you will know. Next Tuesday, we will be on again. We have another amazing guest who has a story to tell, and I can't wait for you to hear it. A near-death experience that she survived, and she's going to come on and tell us all about it and inspire us and encourage us. So until next time, next week, have a great rest of your week and weekend, and we will see you next Tuesday. Bye, everybody. Thanks, Janet.
Yeah, I'm so extra. Express myself, I'm next up. Yeah, more juicy. Coming up. Yeah. Come on, yeah. Come up now. Come on, stop me. Come on, you coming up.
Great show, Janet. That was a great show. Great information. Can you hear
It
me?
says I'm still live. Yes, but it says I'm still live.
Okay, yeah. Oh no, you're just on the side. The
It
show.
says I'm
Oh.
in